everyone, Adele here and Sean here. We're both personal trainers at the Claremont Club, and today we are going to talk about holding a plank smarter, not necessarily longer. So when it comes to your workouts, you want to make sure that you are being more efficient, not just necessarily wasting your time holding a plank for the sake of holding it longer. So today I'm going to have Sean set up in a regular plank position so we can go over just the proper alignment of a normal plank position. So he's going to come down onto his forearms, and things we're looking for: feet are about hip distance apart. The wider they are, the more support you'll have, and make it a little bit easier. The closer they are, the more challenging it will be. He's in a neutral position of the low back and a neutral position of the neck. Notice his hips are not sagging, so show a little sag there. That's going to put a lot of pressure on the low back, and his hips, his butt's not in the air. That's going to take work out of the core. So go ahead and drop back down to your knees and relax. So we're going to talk about how we can first make a traditional plank more challenging by focus on really engaging all the muscle groups that are involved. And he's going to start back in that same plank position. And I want you to pay attention to the way his body looks now. Most of the people are in a plank, you're hanging out. Some people can stay here for a really long time. But if I cue him to squeeze his glutes, to think of bracing through the core, and even though he's not moving his arms, he's going to think of pulling his elbows towards him to activate the abdominals, to keep the lats engaged, and he's actually shaking a little bit if you can't see in the video. This is going to be a lot more challenging to hold for a longer period of time, and he's getting a lot more work out of this plank than just holding it without really paying attention. Go ahead and relax. A lot more challenging, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to give you some options to make planks more challenging rather than just holding them. So yes, those are good cues to make a typical plank feel more challenging, but we're going to spice up our plank variations and give you at least 10 different variations that you can do. So once you can hold a regular plank for a minute, then you can start to progress to some of these other variations. Anything else?
No, just prepare your abs. Here we go.
Okay. So we're going to start in a regular plank position on the forearms. Feet are about hip distance apart. He's going to think of activating through the lats. Core is braced, glutes are engaged. He's going to alternate one leg at a time. Alternating one leg, so working a little bit of hip extension while maintaining the height of the pelvis. Now he's going to keep both feet down. That's one variation. He's going to alternate his arms, so one at a time. Keeping the pelvis as stable as possible.
None of that.
None of that. None of the rocking the hips when you're reaching, which is part of the challenge here. And then go ahead and relax back down. So now we're going to go into a 3-point plank hold, which is similar to what we just did. We're reducing the base of support, but for an extended period of time this time.
So there's two variations on the 3-point plank. One is taking a leg away, one is taking an arm away. Taking the arm away is more challenging.
So on this one, you could set a timer. You could start at 15 seconds, build up to 30, 45 seconds, and then switch sides. You can also do the same thing with the upper body. Typically the upper body, this variation is a little bit more challenging. So both feet are down. He has 3 points of support, 1, 2, 3, trying to keep the torso square. Switch sides. And that is a 3-point plank variation. So the next one is even more advanced. Once you've mastered these variations, you can progress to a 2-point plank, which means you have 2 points of support. And this one's very advanced, so make sure you work up to it. So you might want a wider base of support with your feet. And then reaching this time, opposite arm, opposite leg. And you have a couple different options here. So you can work on holding it for 15 seconds to start, and then switching sides. The hard part is keeping the hips square. That's just, might not be perfect, but you're just working towards keeping the hips as square as possible. Then you can go into alternating, if he wants to go right into it. This one can be harder because you're transferring side to side. Might be a slight shift in the hips, that's fine, but a pretty challenging movement. and then relax. So you can also, we're gonna do one more plank variation, 2-point plank in a full plank position here. So you have the option on your forearms. This one's gonna be on the hands. A lot of these variations you can do with either. So again, working the hold. He has 2 points of support. And you can switch. Good, working that balance there. And then if you want, you can alternate. Good, and when you alternate, always recommend just a slight pause. You're not just trying to rush through the movement for the sake of lifting the arm and the leg. Nice, pelvis is stable and relax. There's lots of different options you can do, like I said, without just holding a regular plank to make it more challenging. Okay, we're gonna go into some side plank options now. Pick a side. Okay, so we're gonna be on his right forearm, shoulder over the elbow. It's gonna extend out to a full plank position. So we have a hip lift we can do to start. So first, of course, you can just hold the plank, side plank, for an extended period of time. Then you can lower the hips and lift. So you're gonna lower and lift. We'll just do a couple of these. And then you can go into a side bending variation. Top arm reaches up. Or sorry, side rotation. So top arm reaches up and you're rotating from the hips, slight rotation from the shoulder and the hips. Let's do 2 more here. Good. And hold. Now we're going to do abduction, taking the top leg up. Let's switch sides. So this one's, again, very challenging. You want to be able to find your balance first and make sure you can hold a normal plank before you add this variation on. A lot of work for the glutes. It's definitely more challenging than it looks. Okay. And relax. Do you have any more side plank variations?
Just a regression. If you can't hold the full side plank, you can go from the knees and you can actually do those exact same variations from the knee.
So those are great ways to build up to the full plank position.
And then also the hard version of this for the full.
So we're adding the rotation. And then going into the abduction with the top leg. Nice. All right, so final variation we're going to show you today is a reverse plank, which is way more challenging than it looks. For this one, you want to be able to have the flexibility in your shoulders. It's quite a bit of work for the chest and shoulders. Notice he's turning his fingertips back, and he's going to lift up on the heels, maintaining the height, sometimes it's hard to stay in neutral if you need to have a little chin nod here. If it's feeling a lot of pressure in the neck, you can do that. And then lower back down. So again, that's at least 10 different plank variations to be able to be more efficient in your workouts rather than just holding a plank for an extended period of time. Anything else?
No, give it a shot.